Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengals fan on most of the major platforms. I am joined here with superfan Riley Goldman and superfan Jake Circus, and this is the Week 5 recap show. And it's Devin Circus. Sorry, I'm just, you know what? My brain's still in the preview show. And it is the Week 5 a recap show of Jungle Talk. There, you messed me up. All right, I'm back on track. So,
I think you did it all on your own, by the way.
Mark was
you know
hoping
what? I'm
we could
gonna.
go back and not have that game happen.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah, if I could wind back time, I'd go back and take the Chargers off all my cards that died in the afternoon because they couldn't finish. But if you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's all we ask. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when you get our videos. This is a by fans for fans. So just support the channel. It's all we ask. And let's get into this. It's you know what frightens me the most? I'm going to throw this out there to start.
If you lead with a positive, I'm leaving, by the way. If you
No, I'm
lead
not
with a
starting with the
positive, I'm
positive.
leaving.
Here's my problem with everything that transpired at the end of this game. We're going to get the Andy Griffith press conference from
Right.
Zach. We showed a lot of great things, and I really think we're on our way. And golly jeepers, gee willikers, I just give us another week or two. I mean, we're going to get that dopey press conference with no content because they're going to see that when a team took its foot off the gas, we were down 25 points. That's all it
Yeah.
was. They got a couple injuries in their secondary. They took their feet off the gas, and the Bengals are gonna Zach Taylor's gonna draw all these positives from that, and he's gonna think everything's okay, and we're gonna go into we know what's gonna happen next week in Green Bay. So that's my biggest concern about what just happened here today.
Yeah, I mean, the score was 28-3. The game was beyond over. I mean, hell, Dan Campbell was punting in the first half. What is that to? There were two opportunities where I thought it was a no-brainer in the first half that Campbell was going to go for it. He didn't need to, and the announcer said it best. He's like, "We know Campbell likes to go for it, but why bother? I'm just going to put them inside the 10 because they're going to it makes it's easy. It's going to be easier for the Lions to score." It was 28-5. The offense had no signs of life, and that's being nice.
Yeah.
Yoshi breaks free on one play, takes it into the 30, and from there the Bengals slapped on 150 yards of garbage.
Right.
Look, the first touchdown, unbelievable play by Jamar, ill-advised throw.
Oh,
Has
into
no
three
business.
triple covered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has no business being made. I don't know how it got through. And I don't think I'm being hypocritical because if Burrow makes a throw, you're like, oh my God, how did he do that? I don't think it's the same type thing. You shouldn't have made the throw. Unbelievable play by Jamar. And then the 65-yarder was complete broken coverage. The safety
Yeah.
completely
Yeah.
bit. He had no set, or the corner bit. So look, great. We put up 24 points. Browning finished with 251. I wish I remember. I know at one point he was 8 of 15 for 30 yards. I think he tacked on 50 or 60 before the half. He did not have 100 yards at the half. Two interceptions at the half. The third interception was on the first drive of
Yes.
the second half. I mean, look, put Brett Rippon in, bring in somebody from the practice squad. We could go bigger here, but look, you can't tell me that the Giants would not take a sixth and give back a seventh for Jameis or Russell Wilson. The Falcons would take a 5 or a 6 for Kirk Cousins
We don't want Cousins though because he comes with a big price
and
tag.
pay the salary. Of course, we're not going to, but the bottom line is if they don't do something, they're basically telling the entire fan base and the entire NFL, we just don't care.
Yeah.
They're going to bring Zach Taylor back next year. And look, I know I'm rambling here, but I've got
No.
2 weeks of shows that I haven't been on that I can go here.
Yeah.
We all had a text thread the other day on the Thursday night game
Yeah.
watching not Shanahan.
Yeah. Shanahan.
Is it Shanahan?
Yes. Yes. Kyle
Um,
Shanahan. Yeah.
Watching Shanahan scheme with a terrible backup quarterback who is not good and is no better than Browning.
He's
Scheme.
better than Browning.
Okay.
Mac
That's
Jones is
fine.
way better than Browning.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's fine. But the
the
bottom
point
line
being
is to
scheme.
scheme
Yeah.
and put together a game plan to go into the Rams stadium and win the game is beyond impressive. Zach Taylor is incapable of doing that.
Right.
Many love John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh couldn't do squat today with his backup quarterback against a very average at best Houston Texans defense.
Yeah.
I made the comment when you guys were absolutely killing Browning and that Browning isn't a serviceable backup. I called BS saying we're changing the narrative because before the season last year, when Browning played 2 years ago, he was fine. I'm not going to say he was great. He was serviceable. He was a good NFL backup. On this podcast, we have specifically said we don't need to go get an expensive backup because we've got a pretty damn good backup in Browning. Between you guys and Jake and Heath, a couple of you guys called BS on me. I think that's an interesting discussion. But the bottom line is, I don't know what Browning did to be serviceable 2 years ago. He is a JV high school quarterback.
Yeah.
And if you want to have a shot at salvaging the season, we've got one more brutal game. This was a brutal stretch. It would have been, we would have taken 3-3 and ecstatic at 4-2 if we had Burrow at this point.
Yeah.
We're going to be 2-4. If you want to have any shot of being 7-7 when there's talk, I don't think he's coming back. But if you want to be 7-7 and have a chance at a salvageable 6 or 7 seed with Burrow comes back, if that's even plausible, you have to go get somebody. You can't, and that's probably not even enough. And I know I'm still going, and I apologize. I'll be done.
Right.
But
I was going to cut you off in a second anyway. So go ahead.
What's that?
Finish up. I was going to cut you off in a second.
All right. So that's the Browning part of it. But you can't tell me that this team is one player away from having 2 good games, not look great, but win 2 games and look as bad as we do in all facets of the game. There's some positives on defense.
Yes.
Because Joe Burrow went out, that's on coaching. Zach Taylor's not an NFL coach. Jake Browning's not an NFL quarterback.
All right. Now, let me address a few things. First, Harbaugh has like 10 injuries to key defensive guys.
You're right.
So we're not as injured a team.
Forgot. You're right.
I take Harbaugh any day of the week.
They're decimated.
Zach Taylor.
You're right.
We could trade today. I will take Harbaugh as our coach.
You're right.
That's number one. Number two, Shanahan went out there and won a game that they had no business winning on Thursday night. So that just shows you coaching matters. Okay. Yeah. And on Jake Browning today, let's go back. Let's look at that first pick. You've got a down and out by Chase, and you throw it behind him, and it's intercepted, right? Then you've got the pick coming out of coming out of halftime. There's 3 guys on Gesicki. Why are you even? He's just not even looking.
That linebacker was camped. He hadn't moved 2 or 3 seconds.
No, and everybody's closing in, and the interceptions. And I'm going to put in one that wasn't an interception. He had T. Higgins over the middle. You just throw it over the middle of the field. You got a touchdown in the first half of this game, but he puts it behind him. So it's just I think they missed the touchdown. They didn't get an interception, but he doesn't do ball placement. And on Jamar's amazing catch for a touchdown, if there's 3 guys on Jamar right there, Burrow finds one of the other people. Do the math. At least 4 are rushing. You have 3 people there. That means there's 4 people covering Yoshi, T, Gesicki, Fan if he's in the game, Chase Brown. I mean, you have 4 guys covering those 5 guys. Somebody else is open for an easy throw. He doesn't force it there. Yeah. So
everything you said was perfect, and you left off the second interception,
right?
Which was just as bad, where 2 Lions could have picked it, and Jamar had no chance to pick it.
Yeah.
There was another interception right out of the second half that Jamar made a good play to push the defender out of bounds.
Do you remember Daryl Johnston's great quote that I remember from this game? He said, Jamar Chase, it was late in the third quarter, Jamar Chase is tied with tackles with the leading tackler. And I logged in immediately, looked at the tackles. Yeah, B.J. Hill had 3. Somebody else, I think Logan Wilson had 3. And there was Jamar Chase with 3. Jeez. And I was like, when your star receiver is that's the only category he's leading in, there's a problem. Houston, there's a problem. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
go ahead,
mean,
Riley.
I never talk fantasy on here, but at one point in the third quarter, I texted my partner in my one league, and I said we can now officially sit Jamar next week against Green Bay, and it's only Cortland Sutton I have to replace him, and then maybe we did a little not so fast, my friend, after the fourth
Yeah.
quarter.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Riley,
I
go ahead.
mean,
Yeah,
I just don't. You look at the Lions and you look at a lot of teams in this league, but the Lions in particular, they have a quarterback who's still a $50 million a year quarterback. Their wide receiver one still gets 30 a year. They have two, I'll say one's a top 10, the other one's probably top 20 running backs in this league. And somehow they have enough money to also have an elite defense.
their defense is all young. They were all drafted in the golf.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's something there that while we have a wide
And
receiver
they
two
paid
being paid
Branch,
like a
by the
wide
way.
receiver one,
Yeah, they did pay
and
Branch.
they
Yeah.
did, but it's somehow something is going wrong in this organization and has for a long time. We've all known this lead, no matter how good our draft looks, most of the guys never develop. But is that a drafting thing or is that a coaching thing?
That's a coaching thing.
Because
Well,
you look
both.
at this
Both.
team who is constantly drafting in guys. You have the Chiefs constantly drafting, Eagles constantly drafting guys, getting guys in the third, fourth, fifth round that are playing as if they're all pros, whether their stats are there or not, but they play like it. And yet we barely have first rounders who can actually make an impact on this team. Something's going wrong somewhere. And I mean, it starts at the ownership, but something
Absolutely.
has to change or this team's never going to be an elite team.
No,
No,
it's Duke Tobin,
nailed
it's
it.
Zach
You nailed it.
Taylor, and it's Zach Taylor's. I judge people by their coaching tree too. Look how Callahan's doing, right? I mean, it's not, people coming off of Zach's tree or anything. Then you turn around and you look at Dan Campbell, and he loses nine coaches. He just brings assistants up. Their
Yeah.
defensive coordinator that they're playing hard. Um, and I'm not saying get rid of Golden because he's the one bright spot. This defense, statistically, they talk about as not being a good defense. This defense has been put in some of the worst situations and has kept it. The only reason the numbers look good is because the defense played well today.
Yeah.
Hell, we started the Lions on three different possessions. One of them or two of them, they were either just in the red zone or outside the red zone. I
Yeah,
mean,
Five
and but
five different drives today that the Lions were on our side of the field to start.
to start, yeah.
Five different, I mean, that included the offside kick and the pooch punt at the end, but still, five total. And then that pooch punt with the penalty put them into the red zone.
Right.
What is
Well,
happening?
and
think about this.
just for the record, with I don't know, a minute and a half left in the second quarter, we were down 14-0 inside the 35-yard line and getting the ball back to start the second half. So hats off. Like, you look at the final score and you're going to think, oh, it's the Bengals defense. The Bengals defense
No.
is not god awful. Trey
No.
had a
Lions are
good game today. Demetrius Knight looks fantastic.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Like there was a lot, when he was drafted, everybody said it's a horrible reach. They could have had him 2 rounds later. Through camp, he looked fantastic. And then in the preseason games, it was, oh my God, he's completely outmatched in games. What's going to happen? He draws the start and he has gotten better every week. I'm on
Yes.
record. He is the guy for me this year. When he gets his first interception, I'm buying his jersey. He doesn't have to take it to the house. He can get a tip pass for a pick. I'm buying the jersey because it's starting to get cooler here in Arizona, and we're getting ready to do fires in the fire pit. And I can use the Cam Taylor Britt jersey for the firewood.
There you go. There you go.
Did
So
he even play today?
yeah. No, I can't. You certainly didn't hear his name. I saw some really bad plays by Geno Stone, but I
Oh, he
didn't
was
really
bad.
notice it. Yeah.
He was
Oh, a
bad.
couple of them that were just completely overran the play. It's like, dude, you are a veteran. You know to take a better angle than that.
TTB had 2 total tackles today.
2 tackles.
Yeah.
He was out there.
Yeah, Jake has that site that looks at snap percentage. We won't see that
Right.
till
I want to give you another little nugget on coaching. You ready? We had a free kick off the safety, right? They got cheated out of their first safety on a hold that the person never should have done because Browning was already on his way to the ground when he's committing the hold. But we got some help from the refs today with flags. We really did. The PI on Gasecki that led to a score, but
my kid said, go ahead.
on the free kick. okay, after the safety was there was a fair catch called, and we still managed to do a 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct. That's coaching. When you have a fair catch being called on a free kick and you say, you know what, we don't want you to take it at the 48. Would you take it at the 33 or whatever the yard lines were? But that's why the lines were so far. It was like, really? I mean, that's and like I said, my biggest concern today is that there's a bunch of people on the Bengals that are going, well, that was progress. And the game was. Listen, we scored a bunch of points when a team took their foot off the gas. When they realized they should put their foot back on the gas, they scored
They
again.
did again.
Yeah, they put it away. So, you know, I like I said, I haven't heard it yet
Yeah.
because we were recording, but the Zach presser, it's that whole little Andy Griffith, golly gee, gee Willikers, guys. This was a major jump. The only positive, I'm gonna give you one positive today. Maybe Jake Browning realized that if you just chuck the ball up to T and Chase, maybe you can make things happen. Instead of these dink and dunks, we need it's a 3rd and 13 and you dunk it down and Chase catches it. Or there was a Drew Sample dump off that lost 3 yards.
He's
It's it,
he check down merchant. There's all kinds of terms that you use for guys like that. They make fun of Fields and some of these mobile quarterbacks. Lamar, before he got better at throwing the ball, not that he's any good, but I swear to God, of his first 15 passes today, most of which in the first half, none of them went more than 4 yards past the line of scrimmage.
and when they did, they were behind the guy for an interception, or they were in triple coverage for an interception. So
Yeah.
it's just it's so frustrating being a
I
fan of
got
this team.
I have one more positive before I have to get out of here. Is BJ Hill goes down and then TJ Slayton Jr. comes in, has 2 QB hits, is our 3rd leading tackler. I mean,
Slayton,
someone had to step up.
from
Yeah.
what I've seen, and this gets beyond what I know and watch, but from what I've seen, Slayton's been very, very good against the run. He comes off against the pass. So, but BJ, wait, no, I guess BJ plays against the pass too. So
Yeah.
he you're saying Slayton took BJ's role against the pass
Yeah,
when
when he went out.
he went
Yeah.
down? Okay. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Make a mental note. We'll talk to Jake about Slayton on the preview show. So, but yeah, the Jets,
All
great
right, I gotta
All
head
right.
out. I
Hey,
have
thanks,
practice
thanks
coming
for
up.
well, thanks, Riley. Appreciate it. Take care.
See you, Riley.
The the BJ I wasn't gonna say the Jets was a good comparison because they were out of the game and
Same thing.
they put up a bunch of points and statistically they're gonna go, well, look, Fields did this and we did that, but you did it essentially when the game was over. The Cowboys were up, once again, like more than 3 scores.
31-3.
And then once it was
Okay.
almost a mere thing. Then they saw, oh my gosh, we were up 30-3, and they let the team back, get within a couple scores. And they said, oh wait, and they scored again and made it 37. So it's a perfect example. Fields' inability is so much like Jake Browning's inability. It's just like I said, my biggest fear is that they're gonna get complacent and tell this fan base that they don't need to make any moves. They don't need to go out and get a better
Yep.
quarterback. And so that's my biggest fear. So, but all right. Well, we'll are you going to be available for the preview this week?
I have a wedding Thursday. We might have to get creative at time with the time, but
All
if
right.
we do it earlier Thursday, I'll be fine.
Let
Or
me
Friday.
talk to your son and let's figure that out. Like we do previews on Thursdays, we do recaps right after the game. Please support the channel, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you know when our videos come out, and hit the thumbs up. It helps us out tremendously with the YouTube analytics. Show by fans for fans. Please just support the channel. It's all we ask. Any final comments before we watch Buffalo, New England?
Uh, there's a part of me that says let's just keep doing the Jake Browning thing and get a top 5 pick and take Caleb Downs.
Okay, I wasn't going to bring this up, but Jake and I talked about this because there was a question from a viewer, and he said, "Hey, it looks like we're going to have a top 10 pick. Do you think it's possible to have a top 5 pick?" I saved that for the show because one of the things is when we played Miami the year before we got Joe Burrow,
Yeah.
there was an overtime game that we lost. That probably cost Brian Flores his job, but that game was the difference between 1 and 2. Okay. The Jet game coming up in a few weeks, that game is going to have draft order implications. I truly believe it because there could be where I'm not saying it's going to be the first overall pick, but the difference between why we're drafting in front of the Jets or the Jets are drafting,
Well,
it's going to go to that game.
Jets are 0 and 5. I mean, right now, and it's obviously very early, we are in the top 10, actually. Wow, we're the worst 2 and 3 team. That's interesting.
Right.
Um, you've got Vegas at 1 and 4, Miami. Well, Baltimore's, oh my God, Baltimore has the number 3 pick right now.
But Lamar's
I
coming
think it's
back in a couple weeks, so that's going to change. They're
no,
going to
that's
start.
my point.
Yeah.
Look, Baltimore's still winning the division.
Right.
Um, yeah, there's absolutely a chance we could be top 5
Yeah.
because I mean, what games are we going to win?
And I posed that to Jake and Riley after the recap on the last show, as I said, show me another win on the schedule. And it was a Jets maybe.
Jets maybe, Bears maybe, Steelers. I don't expect it. Patriots absolutely not. Uh, Browns at the end, no chance. Cardinals maybe. Dolphins maybe.
Yeah, it's
At
like I
best, the
said.
team's 5 and 12.
Yeah. You have to also remember the reason why the Jets may have another win. Buffalo will wrap up the division. If they're playing late in the season with the Jets,
I'll
they'll
tell
play
you
all
right
their
now.
backups. It's stuff like that that plays into it. But absolutely, look for that Jet Bengal game right. But I think it's right before the bye week, isn't it?
No, it's after the bye because we have a bye right after Pittsburgh, don't we?
No, no, we play. No, we have a bye after the Jets or Chicago. We're like a week 10 bye.
You're right. You're right. It's
Yeah.
Jets Bears bye.
Yeah, Jets. So that Jet game really could determine draft order. I'm not saying we're getting to number one overall. I mean, Tennessee got their first win today, so you never
They
know.
did. They
But
did.
I'm not saying, but that game is
Yeah.
going to have draft implications with
Yeah.
with
And the
us in
Jets
the
do
show.
play the Bills in week 18.
Yeah, and so the Bills won't be playing anybody. The Bills might have the one seat wrapped up.
Right. Right.
So they might not, so that's a win. There's going to be games like that down the road for the Jets where they're
Jets have Falcons at home, Dolphins at home, at Jags, at Saints, and then Bills in week 18. The Jets aren't winning more than 3 or 4 games.
right. But from the looks of us, we're not winning more than 3 or 4 games.
Right.
And if one of them is against the Jets, we'll be drafting after the Jets. That was my point when
Yeah.
the viewer asked that. So I wasn't going to go there right now, but you brought it up, and I thought,
I'm
hey,
all in on Caleb
why
Downs.
not? Let's do it. So, all right.
All
Well,
in on
that's our
Caleb
closing
Downs.
thought. Hey, hit the thumbs up. Help us out with the analytics. We'll be back with a preview on Thursday. And I'm going to say, hoo day, everybody.
Who
Take care.
day?